Welcome to UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and do this for my people. Oh God, neon niggas offended me. Yeah, and today I'm gonna be talking about how the term Arab is utilized as a nationality term that's conflated with socio ethnolinguistics and stuff like that. I'm gonna put social in the title because I'm not even sure that's a word for real. Socio ethno linguistics and stuff like that, but it's me trying to combine these three things together the same way how they trying to conflate and break down words and stuff like that to make it all one big thing. Is really just them breaking it apart in general of, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to socio and ethno and linguistics, and then trying to combine different words together and stuff like that. It's really them trying to make a language. It's them trying to make a culture. It's them like mix matching things together to make it be seen like it's one thing, but it's just synthetic. You know what I'm saying? Compared to like the purity of what something is. The same way how you go to the grocery store, you're gonna get the additives and the gentrified GMO things to make it so it can be more processed and retained longer, but you don't get the purity of what it is. So from the fact that you even make up some terminology like socio, ethno, linguistics, and it's like breaking apart words, is them trying to break apart different things to make it so you can have that spiritual discernment, and you end up conflating things, and then you end up being confused just from the terminologies I be using and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to don't even get lost into the words I'm saying, but feel like the energy of what I'm trying to say. Because a lot of motherfuckers, they're gonna be all like, oh, why you talking about Arab motherfuckers? You ain't Arab and all that type stuff. And me talking about socio ethno linguistics and stuff like that, and then motherfuckers gonna be like, why are you talking about social ethno linguistics? Social ethno linguistics and stuff like that, and how does that even play a part to what Arabs doing in the Arab world and all that type of stuff? When all these different things kind of go hand in hand to why the Arab world is looked at like that. So just in general, is really them trying to combine culture, race, and language. You know what I'm saying? So based upon that culture, race, and language, those are things that all three can go hand in hand. But from them trying to combine these different things together, that's how we can get to terminologies like Arab and stuff like that. When Arab is really just something that's Afro-Asiatic and stuff like that. So based upon what was going down in the Middle East and stuff like that, all the way down to the religious aspect. I'm gonna get there though, because all these things go hand in hand when it comes to business, religion, politics, entertainment, uh, education, and culture. A lot of these things go hand in hand together based upon the different programs that we having out here and stuff like that to make things substantiated. So those things can be running smoothly under their pretenses of how they want it to look instead of the people themselves calling themselves something. So based upon English terminology and stuff like that, English is just a pigment language. It's a combination of a whole bunch of different languages, but it makes it so it's a universal language so we can all understand each other. But it's really just a bastardized Latin. So from it being a bastardized Latin, just from that right there, it's just England man talk. So based upon the English terminology, that's just something they made up so they can understand it, but they're trying to understand it from their point of view of them trying to understand other people's cultures and stuff like that. It's not a thing of the people being around each other, like basically calling themselves something. That's the main reason I'll be having other videos and stuff like that where I'll be like, if a motherfucker call you black or call you a negro, okay, negro is just the Spanish terminology of the word black, but them also calling you black and negro and nigga and all those other terminologies like Moors and stuff like that, that's what they was calling y'all. It's not something y'all was calling yourselves. All the way down to Africans. It's not Africans calling themselves Africans. No, they called y'all Africans based upon you know what I'm saying, European terminology and stuff like that of what they was trying to call y'all. And you can look at the etymology of all these different words because, like I just said, English is just a bastardized Latin. They needed something to call y'all so they understand, oh, yeah, these are these people and this is their culture and this is what they're into. But how can we capitalize and take over their land because we feel like we could do it better based upon some God superiority complex based upon, you know what I'm saying, them taking over different nations and stuff like that. That's why I brought in the word nationality, because ethnicity and nationality aren't the same thing. Your ethnicity is just the race based upon what's in your blood. A nationality is based upon the nation or the country slash state that got taken over and stuff like that. Before it was called a nation, before it was called a country, before it was called a state, and things of that nature. It was just people being around a village or being around a, you know what I'm saying, they territory government. It was just they group, they kinship, they civilization that they done made up before it became an English American terminology, but just off the fact it's called that, right, on a higher percentage scale of what they did to take over. And then y'all could say things throughout history, right? Y'all can say things with throughout history how, oh, Africa, when the different states got the independence and stuff like that, but they got that independence or that freedom under their pretenses of how they look at their government and stuff like that after they took over. You know what I'm saying? Like, after they don't pillage, then you get your independence to do what you want, because we already done cripple y'all race enough. We already done cripple y'all people enough to where y'all not even gonna be able to get over the European concept of what we made up anyway. I'm not even trying to hate on Europeans. I'm just talking about history right now. But yeah, so based upon culture, race, and language, based upon what Arab is just another terminology for black people, because it's really just the main races being Native Americans, Europeans, Asians, and Africans. Those are the main four things. And then y'all can try to turn it into some nationalistic type of thing and try to divert it into something else from different nations y'all done took over and stuff like that. But those are the main races based upon what's in your blood. Anything else is just a nationalistic language terminology to try to understand what their culture is. But those main four races, ethnicities, and stuff like that, those are the main four things. And then it goes based upon who you mixing together with, and then what type of culture or what type of language was you brought up from, based upon who you was around and stuff like that, based upon the language y'all made up or what y'all cultivated for yourselves and stuff like that. Because you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want y'all to get lost into, oh, okay, he's talking about certain cultures and stuff, but you can make a culture right now. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to, that's like you making a new subgenre of music. Okay, you made a scene, so you made a culture. You made a subculture out of the overall culture, a genre or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like a thing you can make yourself right now. The same way how you cultivated of you changing your last name and stuff like that, or your you know what I'm saying, your parents making up that name on your birth certificate and stuff like that. Okay, they cultivated it. They created the name of what they want to call you, and that's the energy signature you're gonna be carrying, because that's your name, unless you want to change it yourself and all that type of stuff. But like, yeah. So Arab, based upon it being Afro-Asiatic, because I really want to make this man simple. From Arab being Afro-Asiatic, that's just alternative terminology of the thing of what they was calling black people. They was mixing together with Asians and Europeans. So I'm gonna repeat, Arab is just like, because look, they'll sit there and be like, it's not an ethnicity, which is right. It's a socio-linguistic identity, right? But based upon it being a social language, right? And based upon that social language in that culture, they're gonna be like, oh, these are just Arabs, right? But it's really just being conflated with Afro-Asiatic Middle Eastern motherfuckers. So it's the Africans, Asians, and Europeans, and from the Europeans mixing these three races together, and it made that particular, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these things are based upon like eugenics and stuff like that. Of like, it's the same way how they be testing lab rats in a no, that's not a good comparison. Like different breeds of dogs and stuff like that. It's like the way how they was looking at it back in the ancient days, based upon them taking different nations over and stuff like that. They looking at it like different breeds of dogs. Oh, if I breed this dog with this dog, what is that going to create? What's the phenotype of that? That's the mind state they was thinking in when they was taking these things over, for the most part. Not saying they was like taking over Asia. Asia kind of already had their own thing, right? But it's Middle Eastern, Afro-Asiatic. So it's them combining Europeans with Africans and Asians. Mainly the last two, though. It's mainly the last two. Asians and Africans mixing them together in the Middle East. And that's the Pacific breed of people, you know what I'm saying? Like appearance, culture that they was trying to make and facilitate during that time period when they was coming up with these different terminologies and stuff like that. Which is why when it comes to Arabs in Pacific, they'll say, oh, it's not an ethnicity, but it's more based upon the connection of they all have the same Arab, Semitic, Hebrew, you know what I'm saying, Jewish language and culture. They got brought up in the same creation, the same things. So from it not referring to a single ethnicity or a single race, it instead functions similar to like how you will talk about a Hispanic or a Latino, right? Because if a motherfucker is Hispanic, it's a type of Spanish, but not all the motherfuckers from Spain in Europe are the only Spanish speaking motherfuckers. We have them in America too. So that's when it leads to motherfuckers who are Hispanic or people who are, you know what I'm saying, Latino. And then from them being Latino is really just talking about a lot of the motherfuckers in South America and the different nations that got created out of that area and stuff like that. But not all of them are the same race, but they're considered Latino based upon the geographical location of what they was doing in South America and them mixing those people together and them making up their own languages and stuff like that. So it's just connecting diverse populations across Western Asia and North Africa who share a broad cultural similarity and primary linguistic heritage. So they speaking the same, and we're bringing them up into the same culture for the most part. Now, this is where it leads to the religious aspect because all these different things go together. This is why I keep saying it's really just like the word Arab is more like a nationality term conflated with ethnolinguistics for the sense of some social hierarchy so they can understand who you are so they can identify you. But at the same time, they try to turn it into a thing where they're trying to look at it like, oh, this is like its own race based upon the language and the culture that they got brought up, but that culture and the language that's being brought up within it, they made that up too. You know what I'm saying? Like from the it like that's why I keep on saying all the way down to like what I'm saying before, black people and stuff like that. It's not something they made up and calling themselves. It's something some nationalists made up during that time period to try to take over so they can have more control over their creation, so to speak, from them mixing those people together so they can make a birth of a nation or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They can be a father of a nation or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like stuff like that. So that's when it leads to the religious aspect. So a lot of Arabs are Jewish. So from them being Semitic, Jewish, Jews, it representing Judaism and stuff like that. It's going to represent Jesus Christ and stuff like that, all the way down to the history behind that. And a lot of that is integral with the Arabs. But a religion is just a real legion. I'm gonna keep preaching that shit. A religion is just a real legion. It's a real legion of people who had a culture or a spiritual practice and actually believed in that way of thinking, and it's just a remix, revitalized version of what that legion is doing. So all the way down to Buddhism, all the way down to Hinduism and stuff like that, and what the Asians are doing. It's just a revitalized version of what those people was doing in a way so they could capitalize off of it for money. That's why they're calling it a religion and stuff. Because you can sit there and be like, you can sit there and look up and they'll be like, oh yeah, the Aztecs had a certain religion. The Mayans had a certain religions. They had certain deities and idols and stuff like that. No, it's y'all trying to understand their idols. It's y'all trying to understand why they worshiping this adultery, this statue. Why they worshiping the sun? Why they worshiping the moon? Why they worshiping the atmosphere? Why they worshiping the animals and stuff like that? Why they acting like shamans? Even though shamans is also a term, is also another terminology. I'm not going to get into that right now. But like earth worship and stuff like that. Why they practicing animism? And then we're gonna take the animism and make paganism. It's really them trying to cosplay off of other people's cultures that you know what I'm saying? It's really just they don't understand it. They don't understand what it is. They're like a foreigner. They're like an outsider. Only foreigners be making this shit up. Like this is the thing I'm trying to make y'all understand. It's like people outside of that culture that already got made, or the lack thereof of culture, because in their mind that's how they was looking at y'all during that time. That's why there's a lot of deserts in Africa and stuff like that. They looked at it as deserted land. They looked at it like y'all not facilitating nothing, y'all not creating nothing, y'all don't got no culture, y'all don't got no thing, y'all don't got no power, so we're gonna make one for you. And that's when it leads to things like Afro-Asiatic. That's when it leads to things like making up a language. That's when it leads to things like making the Abrahamic God and Christianity Christianity, monotheism, and stuff like that. We're gonna make up a religion. We're gonna make up a business. We're gonna make up a culture. We're gonna make up an entertainment. We're gonna make up these things for you since you don't even got it already and stuff like that. Us Europeans, we gotta facilitate it, and if y'all don't even got nothing and y'all can't even fight back, we just going, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the thinking they was thinking in their mind when they was making this shit up. Like, so yeah, it's just some Jesuit, because the letter J was not created until the 1600s. So based upon which I'll try to talk about when I come to history and Jesus Christ, like this is actual history. No, this is just based upon stuff like the Old Testament. The Old Testament is just the old world, and then the New Testament is just the new world. The Old Testament just represents in the Bible what they was doing to take over in the old world, and then the New Testament just represents the new world once they start to make up Christopher Columbus pilgrimage concepts and going up onto other people's land and how they took over the new world, the Native Americans and America and all that type stuff. So like in general, and I'm not hating, I'm just saying that's what it really is. It's not no remix version, mysticism, fairy tale, and stuff like that. But they utilize a lot of make-believe, allegorical type of things. So there is some mentality, metaphysics behind that. There is some spirituality behind it. But they utilize it as a religion. You get what I'm saying? Like there's spiritual shit within it, but they utilize it as a religion. They utilize it as a religion for capitalism. You know what I'm saying? They had to cosplay as other people's cultures, practices, belief systems, customs, traditions, and revitalize it in a way that could go in their favor, and then they make it a thing that you can get on the shelf and make it so a whole bunch of different churches are on every other block and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the dollar bill, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the cream. Like, and day mind, it's just about we on the dollar bill, and it's all about the money that we got. And it's always gonna go back to some our providence shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so based upon the religion aspect, right? Yeah, like being Semitic, Jewish, Jews, Judaism, just it has reached the Jesuits and Jesus Christ, right? And then Jesus Christ just represents the sun. It just represents the sun transitions. And that's really a whole different video in itself. But it's not no thing where it was like, oh, some man acting out these characteristics. No, it was someone like kind of like someone in history and stuff like that. And Jesus was born in the Middle East and stuff like that. And that's why Israel going through what's going through right now when it comes to Israel and Palestine. And they feel like they the real Israelites. They feel like they the real lights, the real people, the real prophets. They God's children because of this, that, and the third. No, it's really them trying to remix some animism again and other people's spirituality and culture. And they just want to be the face representation of what that is. But that's that's really a whole different there's really a whole different video in itself. But based upon the religious aspect, they trying to make y'all look at them like that. So it's trying to create this sacred holiness based upon history so they can be seen as the representation of what that is, like there wasn't other motherfuckers playing that out, making up their own world views and interpretation. Y'all ain't gonna have the overall worldview. That's why it's a monotheistic religion, all the way down to Islamic religion and stuff like that, because Arab also coincides with Islamic religion. That's the religion they utilize to put y'all in that legion, so y'all don't think under any other legion. I mean, y'all don't think in any other way for the most part. So from y'all not thinking any other way and y'all reading that doctrine, that's y'all getting indoctrinated. You got lost into the authorship of what some man-made person created. It's not no spooky shit. Like it's like y'all just be like exaggerating in my eyes. Y'all be exaggerating. It's not no man in the sky type of concept and stuff like that. It's someone who's trying to play God so you can look at them as God, so you can worship and idolize them. You take the space that you in, because your spirit is your space. You take in the space that you in, you turn it into a space, you turn your spaceship into a warship, and then you end up going to war for they shit for the most part. You end up going to war for they shit, and they end up taking you out of your own power, out of your own space, out of your own creativity, imagination, so you could give your praise and energy to their imagination and their creations. They created that for you. They created that space, that spirit, that space for you. So they're making that space for you. They're making that world for you. So you don't think any other way. So you can be a part of a legion instead of being a part of your own people. And then that's it. It's just to get you more detached from your natural natures and what you find sacred and things of that nature, so you can look at what they're paying attention to and what they find sacred and what they be caring about. You know what I'm saying? It's like some out of body type of energy. That's like the negative way of how to utilize it. I'm not even trying to say religion is necessarily bad, because it can be utilized in good ways and stuff like that. But the starting point, the main intentions of how that got created in the first place, all the way down to the Abrahamic God and all those different religions like Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. It just leads back to the justification of some nationalism concept, so they can take over other people's land, and they just use that thing as a spiritual practice to make somebody believe in it. You get what I'm saying? So from them playing on y'all beliefs and making a doctrine and making a religion out of it, that's what they did. And then that's why it's a monotheistic religion. They want you to see it, because a monotheistic religion, they want you to see it in one way. So it's like a monoculture. The same way how America is. They want to make everything a monoculture and commodify everything. So the same way how they look at monogamy, right? The same way how they look at monogamy, oh, you can only be with that one person. They only want y'all to be tunnel vision. You only can look at it in this one direction, this one vision, this one way. You can't look at it in any other way. The minute you start looking at it outside that pocket, then they be like, you a sinner, you going to hell, and you going against the creed, the Christ, the, you know what I'm saying, the scripture, all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all that is. So from the Arabs believing in Islam, it's just a subset. It's just a subsector of the overall sector, that Abrahamic religion. You know, Islam, Judaism, Christianity. So it's just a subsector of that Abrahamic religion, and then that Abrahamic religion is a monotheistic religion. They just want y'all to look at God as one way, when God ain't that. God is all possibilities, all of creation, all of existence, the universe. So it's all us building that together. There is no such thing as that. You know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise, it's like a motherfucker who like an ego. It's literally like that. That's like, if God only wanted you to look at things one way, then it would just be like some Neon Genesis Evangelion, one consciousness. No one else is gonna be able to feel no other way and stuff like that. Otherwise, that don't make no, like that shit never gonna make no sense, because I got my own mind and you got your own mind. So God made it so I can be sentient and you can be sentient. It's not no thing where God made it so, no, we all gonna combine to get. There is a dreamwork make the teamwork concept, but everyone's gonna play their role and play their own position. It's not no thing where it's like, oh, we all gonna all look at it in one way. Otherwise, it will be like a thing where we all God then. And God ain't, no, it's not that. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. Like, God made it so, oh, okay, you can create something for yourself. It's not to say you need to be all of creation. It's not saying you need to be all possibilities. It's showing you can make yourself all part of it. You can create your own world. You can be a creator. The same way how y'all look at God as the overall creator, right? You can be one. You can play out God-like energies. You ain't that though. You know what I'm saying? Like, otherwise everyone would just get absorbed in a superior ego, and we don't see that. We don't see that in reality. Not everyone gonna think that way, bro. All the way down to a motherfucker gonna watch this video. They're gonna go against what I'm saying right now. You don't think like me, right? Okay, it's the same thing. So this in general, from them believing in Muhammad, in that prophet, right? A prophet is just a divine spokesman for God, right? All possibilities. But it's just their version of how they look at God, a deity. That's the main thing. It go back into that ego, narcissistic type of energy, right? So from them looking at God like a deity, not like all possibilities, like not as all of existence, they look at it like a deity. So you're deifying something. You know what I'm saying? You're basically giving utmost importance to something outside yourself. You're idol worshiping it. You're giving your power away. You're praising it. You're believing in something outside yourself. I'm not even trying to say there's something wrong with praise and stuff like that, but it's kind of like that prayer warrior type of energy. Oh, I can just pray this shit away and stuff like that. All you doing is praying, giving your power away to an entity that you don't even know what entity you praying to and stuff like that. You could be praying to a motherfucker who a demon who end up utilizing your energy and putting you in a space that's gonna end up taking up all your energy and just sucking you dry and stuff like that. You end up manifesting situations that end up being even more negative and stuff like that. You don't know what type of space you're putting yourself in. You could be listening to a whole bunch of different demonic spirits and stuff like that. This look at the word demonic spirits as like thoughts and feelings. You could be around a whole bunch of different demonic thoughts and feelings, and you could be around a whole bunch of different angelic thoughts and feelings. So from it being an angelic thought and feeling, that's like a higher angle. So it's like you getting messages from God. Look at that as you getting messages to create a better situation for yourself. So you listening to the angels. So you could tread lightly as a spirit, not heavy as a spirit. So from you treading more heavily, that's like emotional baggage, and then you trying to take all that esoteric responsibility for some shit that really got nothing to do with you. So you need to learn you have free will and you're free flowing, not you trying to take spiritual responsibility for some shit that you probably don't even cater to. You know what I'm saying? The space that you in, you probably don't even give a fuck about that. But a lot of that be played upon based upon fear mongering to make y'all care about some shit that really got nothing to do with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got nothing to do with your culture. It got nothing to do with the space you in. It got nothing to do with your creativity. It got nothing to do with your own imagination. It got nothing to do with your own visions. But yet you keep on self-projecting and making it like a worldly type of thing where everyone need to give a fuck about that when you not even from it. It's like this foreigner concept. Like, I'm going to keep saying that shit. It's like some foreigner out the boat type of concept and stuff like that. Like, y'all got that shit off the boat or something. Like, y'all like foreigners and stuff. Like, y'all think outside of y'all own circumstance too much. Like, it's like y'all appealing to strangers all the way down to celebrities and people who want to be global superstars. All you doing is just appealing to strangers and getting away from your people and stuff like that. And when it comes to all this Islamic shit, that's what they basically practicing and sub-projecting onto y'all and stuff. They made and facilitated some doctrines. They made and facilitated some religions. They made and facilitated traditions, customs, and spiritual practices and stuff like that to make it so you're under one of their businesses. You're under one of their creations, so you can't create your own culture outside of what they're trying to make you do for the most part, because you can't think outside of their deities. You can't think outside of an Abrahamic God. You can't think outside of an Islamic God. You can't think outside of a prophet. You can't think outside of the monotheistic religion and stuff like that. You can't use your own spirit. You don't got shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just look weak. Like, spiritually speaking, like, spiritually, God is going to look at you like you weak because you ain't thinking outside your range and stuff. You ain't utilizing your own power and ability based upon free will. He gave you that. He made it so you can have that intelligence. It gave you that to make you utilize that power for yourself. Otherwise, your bitch ass wouldn't be alive right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all that is a part of you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the intelligence you have right now utilizing a human vessel and stuff like that. So instead of you getting lost into holy sacred books from people that ain't your people, you should just find something that's sacred with where you already at and create and cultivate that, and then y'all give the meaning and reasoning and purpose behind that, and then it just, you know what I'm saying? So it's really just them playing off of ethnolinguistics. It's them playing off of society norms, like societal norms. My fault. It's them playing off of ethnolinguistics and them playing off of society norms that they done crafted based upon witchcraft and stuff like that. Witchcraft just means bitchcraft. They're crafting reality using a certain emotion and feeling. So from them self-projecting that energy, and they trying to craft reality to make y'all only be in that feeling, and you can't think outside of that feeling because you in your feelings based upon how you got brought up. That's why you get so detached from your own people and your own culture, but y'all be thinking y'all all got the same thing. You know, like it's kind of like at this point, right? At this point, and it's not me being negative. It's like them facilitating that and making that a thing, and it's like that's y'all culture though. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to me being black and my people and stuff like that. That is y'all culture. Y'all culture is y'all bonding over the societal norm of how they crippled y'all in general. So that is a culture, but that's big, like from an overall perspective, that's how it looked like. Like, y'all culture is being bonded over, oh, y'all got crippled and stuff. So it should be more, oh, let's try to make a way to where we can be productive and turn this thing that make us look crippled as fuck overall and make us look less crippled and stuff like that. Let's create a sentiment to make it so, oh, instead of this Arab terminology that they really utilizing as a nationalistic term based upon them mixing people together and stuff like that, let's take that and pride and start calling ourselves something and start thinking outside of that. But then the minute you start thinking like that, they gonna start sobbing. They gonna start making up a whole bunch of different terminologies of like, nah, we still the real Jews. Nah, we still the real Israelites and stuff like that. Nah, we still God's people. Nah, we still the, you know what I'm saying, the 12 tribes and stuff like that. Nah, y'all going against God. God gonna strike us down for thinking like that and all that type of shit. But it's really just them conflating culture, race, and language and try to control y'all based upon what y'all trying to cultivate. The racial background and what make you who you are and stuff like that, and also play off y'all different languages when y'all could just make up your own language, and then that's it.